Go grab it.
But see, now I'm left alone again.
You're not left alone again.
I am left.
Nobody's even here.
I have 33 emails.
Maybe you should look after your email.
What?
Maybe you should look at your email.
It's all junk. Not one thing. I did get the notification.
You did.
Yeah. Hello, Binky.
First one?
First one.
Pinky's first one.
Share. Twitter.
Pinky, Carol, what's up?
Carol.
Magical Travels, what's up? Dean, what's going on, man? What's happening? I have no life, Pinky says.
Neither do we.
Nobody has a life right now. That's the amazing part of life, is that nobody has a life, right? That's what they say. Just getting situated. I'm sorry. So, hello.
Hello.
I'm sorry that I said that we were gonna go later tonight, but Lisa and I are still very, very drained from our massive front yard haul overload that we did. It's 100% complete. I overworked her. She's still sore. I'm still very tired myself. So I figured let's just bump this up a little bit. So pretty much what we're going over is Universal sent their fans, pass holders, things like that, a little survey, if you will, a questionnaire post-corona COVID-19, kind of just going over different scenarios and how you would feel, you know, your response to everything. Bella, what's going on? Soren, what's happening? So they rank these questions as you would respond to them, taking the survey, that you feel very comfortable to it or with it, to this doesn't work for you. You know, like you have a problem with this. Okay? Now, Disney did not send one out. Universal is the only one that did. The only theme park in Orlando. Hello, everybody. We didn't get into anything yet. Just going over what's happening. Briefing. Universal gave us an email, a little survey. We have to take the survey. Haven't yet. Haven't taken it. Just sent Lisa all the stuff. Kind of briefed her what they were asking. And like I said, this is post-corona changes.
Post-corona era.
Yeah, this survey did not come from Disney, did not come from SeaWorld. Universal is the only one asking their fans about this.
Well, we don't know about SeaWorld. We're not pass holders.
No, but, you know, they probably would, you know, I haven't heard anybody say that they got anything from SeaWorld. So, being that Disney is the mecca of Florida, Universal, I'd say, would be second.
Yeah, and then SeaWorld.
And then SeaWorld and so on. So we're going to take this survey, even though it's an Orlando one, and we're going to answer each question that they give as pertaining to Universal and Disney, as if they both sent us these. Granted, only Universal did. And how, like I said, how they rate this is you are extremely satisfied with this, like you're okay with it, or you have a problem with this, you know, being your least. And it's not a very huge survey. I think maybe 10 questions, 10, 12 questions they gave you, very brief. But I like that they gave it. I do. To kind of get people's opinions. Because just like Disney and every theme park in Orlando, everybody's trying to figure this out.
And
Everybody is.
Travel said they haven't heard anything from SeaWorld.
They haven't heard nothing. We haven't heard too much from Disney, except for the possible of the temperature checks. That's pretty much about it. So we're going to answer these questions, like I said, as if both Universal and Disney sent this, and we're going to talk about how our true feelings are about it. Because we talked about these things in the past, but now that we are closer to when we feel that the parks are going to open, that I got a lot of, I got a lot more questions. You know what I mean?
More questions.
So let's go over these. Let's not waste any time.
Okay.
And just, like I said, we're going to answer this to both Universal and Disney, but Universal is the only one who sent these.
Okay.
Yes.
Require all guests to wear face masks.
So they're asking, would you be okay if all guests?
If all guests wear face masks.
If all guests would wear face masks. Mandatory.
Police or whatever. Tell me.
All right. So let me ask you guys, how comfortable would you feel, before Lisa and I answer, how comfortable would you feel if it was mandatory that Universal and Disney or any theme park in Orlando or in Florida said it was mandatory for you to wear face masks? How comfortable would you feel that? Would you feel very comfortable with it, or would you have like a problem with that? Like that doesn't work for you?
So, can I answer?
Yeah. Well, I'm watching other people answer because I'm asking them, so go ahead. You answer, and then I'll give my thought.
I get it. I'm not against it. My thoughts, though, were in Florida. It's hot out. And once you sweat, your mask is soiled. So therefore, it's not doing anything for you. So I really don't know how effective it's going to be. I get it. I'm in agreement with it. Like we've said before, we both have to wear masks at our jobs right now. So like I get it, but I just don't know how effective it's going to be come the heat, especially come like July and August. If these parks reopen by that point, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
You're going to sweat a lot, especially with something over your face, and then all you're feeling is your hot breath. That's where I'm
And that's something you want to smell. Your breath in the heat. That's something everybody probably looks forward to. My thing is, for how I would answer that, I would be comfortable doing that. If they said it's mandatory, okay.
I'm not against it.
I would not be against it.
I will go ahead and do it.
My question is, for a company who would say it's mandatory, would they provide the face mask, or would I have to provide it? That's my thing. Who's going to provide those masks?
Well, I think you would be responsible because it's just like any other dress code. Right now, you're required to wear shirts and shoes. Obviously, people wear pants, but especially come summer, a lot of guys walk around without a shirt on, and people walk around barefoot. Not so much in a public place, but like you're required to wear shirts and shoes. They don't supply that for you. You have to bring it or buy it. So I think with that, you would have to bring your own mask.
Okay.
Or my other thought would be, this would be a great way for any of the parks to make money, is if someone shows up without a mask and they're willing to be, they're willing to wear one, they just don't have one, but they have someone selling them right then and there.
Yeah. Kind of like what Universal does in City Walk before you get to the gate. They have those little rolling carts of like little merchandise that you can buy.
Or even like when you want to go from one park to the other at Universal via the Hogwarts Express, right there you have to go through so they can make sure you have a park hopper, or a park to park is what Universal calls it, a park to park ticket. And if you don't, they have a ticket booth right there for you to upgrade. I feel like that's kind of what it could be if they would want to be smart about it, because not everyone has masks. Not everyone's, I know I'm not the most creative in making my own mask. There could be people that are going to show up that are more than willing to abide by the rules, but just don't have one. Okay, here you go. But you now have to pay however much money.
Now, would that as well be, do you think there will be, I don't want to say limitations, but certain masks that they would want you to have? Like if I were to go, let's just say, and it was mandatory and I just forgot that it was, all right? And they said, sir, you have to have a mask to get in the park. And I go, oh, I don't have my mask. Oh, wait, I got my bandana. Is that okay? Will they allow that? Or would they say, no, it has to be this certain mask?
Well, and here's my thought on that.
I don't know. These
cloth masks, they look absolutely adorable. there is no filter. It is not protecting you. But given the demand that hospitals and other healthcare buildings require the surgical masks and the N95 mask, I would understand them being okay with a cloth mask or let's say a bandana, because
right now you cannot buy the surgical mask because like Amazon, things like that, they won't even let you hit the add to cart button. Most of the time those places like hospitals or these grocery stores or anybody who is essential have a certain code that they can type in that lets Amazon know that you work at one of these places, then you can buy. So these surgical masks or P95s, N95, like construction type masks, they're kind of hard to get right now. There's not.
Can I comment
go
on
ahead.
Someone's comment?
I will say this. I want to say one thing. Now, but if you wanted to get, because I know a lot of people are making the masks, you can put a slit in the back, and like a shop towel and or paper towels work just as good as
like
a filter.
People were saying like coffee filters.
Coffee filters. Those are good to put in, and that'll be better than just wearing
a cloth.
A cloth.
Now,
if you can't get those N95s or anything else.
I want to go. Diane mentioned something that went into something I had said earlier. Like, do you know how hard it will be in the heat to wear a face mask in the summer? But she added, when you wear glasses fog up. Can I just tell you, because I work in the healthcare profession, and most days during the week I'm wearing my glasses and not my contacts. So I have that issue. Now with surgical masks, the nice thing is the part that goes over the nose, you can like pinch down. So I've figured it out to a T how I need to wear my mask at work so that my glasses don't fog up. But yeah, I understand that. And especially if people can't get their hands on surgical masks. Like I have a cloth mask that one of my coworkers' friends made for all of us that we can wear over top of our surgical mask. But there's no adjusting of anything on the mask. So if I just wear that with my glasses, oh yeah, there's no stopping my glasses from fogging up. So I understand the struggle. That struggle is real.
I just saw somebody say it would be hard to, not police that, but, in such a way to make everybody wear their mask. I probably would imagine it'd just be like how our work is at the hospital. That, you have workers, their team members, Disney's cast members, whoever. I would imagine just have their job would just be to walk around, and if they see somebody without a mask, maybe just approach them in that distance and just be like, hey, make sure you put your mask back on, or hey, can you put your mask, something like that. I feel that'd be the only way they'd be able to police that.
Well, I feel like they would police it like they police anything else. So like, especially after Disney banned smoking, if they catch you smoking, I'm sure they're going to go up and say something to you like,
hey, there's no smoking here. I think it'd be kind of almost the same.
Or like Universal still allows smoking, but they're in designated smoking areas. So I'm like, I feel like they would police it like that. If they see you walking around without the mask, they're going to tell you it's required to wear a mask. You need to put it on. Or if you don't want to wear one, I can show you to the exit.
Yeah, it's such a nice way that they would have to do it. But I think that would be their job for a while. They would just have people, those workers, scattered around just to kind of look for that. You know what I mean? To just say, hey, you don't have your mask on, can you put it up? Or, something along those lines, I think. But, okay, so we're for it. It's just,
I think everyone's pretty much for it. It's just these little things that we're like, okay, how's this gonna work? But I think most people are like comfortable with the idea of possibly having to wear it.
It wouldn't bother me, I would say. Like I would do it. I'd have to just pull it down a little bit in the heat to breathe a little bit and then put it back on and then continue. Like I do at work now. I work around a lot of heat, so I can go about half hour, 40 minutes till I have to okay, and then back on, and then I'm all right. Just, pull down for like a minute just to breathe, and then, back on. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Yes, I know summer would be terrible, it'd be rough, but I think I'd be able to do it, and I'd be okay with it. So we're on board with that. And it seems like a lot of people are on board with it, too.
Then again, though, you and I are also locals. We don't go to the park and spend all day there either, like people who are coming down for vacation. Like, we can go for 2-3 hours and feel we got our money's worth and go home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get that it's going to be different for other people.
It's going to be, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a lot harder for those vacationing who are going to spend 10 plus hours
at the park.
At the park in a mask. That's going to be, yeah. So I imagine a lot of sales will go up in those little like wind,
the hand
fans. I think those will go up in sale because you'll probably need that too.
All right,
so let's move on. So we're pretty much in agreement with that.
Require all team members to wear face masks. This kind of goes in with the other thing. I mean, I think that makes sense. If you're going to require all the guests to wear,
you have to require your team members, cast members.
Or cast members should also be wearing masks.
So that would make me feel better because then it's not singling us out. Because then you would get a lot of people that would say, well, why do I have to wear a mask if you're not going to wear a mask?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. We do that in life. You know, why do I have to do something if you can't do something? And you work for this company.
It's all about life has to be fair for
everybody.
So
I'm agreeing on that. If we have to do it, they should have to do it. All cast members, all team members, they should have to do it. If we have to, it makes sense for them to. So I'm in agreement to, yeah, they would have to do it. You know.
I think if CMs wear them, so should guests and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. Staff would have to protect everyone. Yeah. So everybody would be protecting each other. The workers, the cast members, the team members, and the guests. We'd all be helping each other out with this. So I'm in agreement. If we have to do it, I think it's fair. Keep it fair. You know, that'd be the only way. You can't justify any company to be like, that's like going into a grocery store and saying, because a lot of grocery stores are doing this, I was saying everybody who comes to visit our grocery store or come in to purchase has to wear a mask, but
then if you see
my
your
cashier's not going to wear it, well then you're kind of like
the stocker's not wearing one, like then why?
Then my first result is, I'm going to pull my mask down.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take it off, but I'm going to pull it down and just walk around then. So yeah, I'm agreed with that. And that's not a terrible thing to ask for. No. So let's move on. So a lot of these are going to be somewhat quick and some we're going to really get into, I feel.
The next one, suspect X-ray conveyor belts at security. Can I just answer right away about this one?
Yeah, so they're saying, would you feel comfortable if they suspend the X-ray?
Yeah, so
one, I don't even know how this has to do with anything.
Yeah, so the difference between Universal and Disney is at security, Universal does it more like an airport where you put your stuff on a conveyor belt, it goes through the X-ray machine, and you walk through the metal detector. No one is actually going through your bag. So this one makes no sense to me why they would get rid of the X-ray conveyor belt. This is already a hands-off procedure. Why would you want to then implement hands having to go into everyone's bags? Yeah. Like, to me, that's going to spread the virus. Yeah. If that's what your fear is, continue this whole conveyor belt system.
Yeah, so
put your belongings in a bin, the bin goes through, it scans everything, and nobody's hands have to actually go in my bag.
Yeah.
Vice versa, they don't have to touch anything. Like,
I thought that was a very weird part of Universal's survey question, because why would you not want to do that?
Yeah, like, that made no sense.
One, that keeps the line moving, and two, like Lisa said, that keeps people off.
And if they're
hands off, hands free.
And my other thought process is, if they're thinking like, oh, well, we would need to sanitize the conveyor belt, you would have to sanitize the table that we would be putting our bags on anyway. To do, like, if you would switch to how Disney does it, like, then you'd have to continuously keep sanitizing the table. Like, either way, you're gonna have to sanitize it.
So I think Universal should keep that. I don't think they should suspend it. Now, what do you think Disney could do with this?
Disney, I've been saying this before the pandemic started. Their security system is ridiculous.
Oh, it's terrible.
Switch to the Universal method. Switch to the TSA method. Get these conveyor belts, scan everyone's bags, and have everyone walk through the metal detector. There you go. It's quick. It's easy. They should have started that from the get-go. But I know that being that Disney's losing like $30 million a day because all of its parks are closed. They don't have the money right now to focus on conveyor belts. So what are they going to do?
So what could they do? Could it be like some football stadiums, clear bags only?
It could potentially be that.
Clear bags only? Would you be comfortable with that? That's one way, one thought.
I mean, most of the security guards were already wearing gloves. But again, going on this whole glove contamination thing, because people think wearing their gloves is going to solve this whole issue, even though they're touching everything.
You're touching everything
Working at a hospital, I know that once I touch something, the gloves are contaminated. Now I have to take them off and put new ones on. But that's because I've been trained like that.
At the hospital, we go through gloves more than
Yeah.
anything else.
It's like you can't go and touch stuff.
Like even as
and as one of the nurses puts it, it's
like
as if let me go to the bathroom, not wash my hands, and then go administer your medication.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna do that. So the same thing kind of goes with gloves. You can't just go and touch one thing with your gloves and then think that if you go touch another thing, you're safe.
Yeah.
Now you contaminate everything.
I do the same thing.
I don't really know what Disney's gonna do security-wise from what they're not already doing, because yes, they could constantly keep taking gloves off and switching.
That's a lot of money for gloves.
It's a lot of gloves to go through for how many people go through that.
So I think
go through one park alone.
The only thing I can come up with is clear bags right now.
Clear bags?
For right now, until they recoup some of the money and then maybe go into the
I guess I need to go
belt.
looking for a clear bag.
Well, you have that Green Bay one.
I don't know if I still have it.
Yeah.
And it's not a backpack.
I think that
like
could be a
using
thing.
Backpacks.
I know a lot of people do like using. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Like my clear Green Bay Packers one was a purse.
Yeah, they need to keep the X-ray. Like I said, I don't know why they had that in their I don't know. Maybe they needed to take up some space on their survey. I don't know. I thought that was a very weird.
Yeah, let's get rid of the one thing that's already hands off, so we can make it hands on.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That made no sense.
So Universal, keep that. Disney, well, they have to think of something, and the only thing I could think of right now is the clear bag.
Or go conveyor belt, but again, because they're losing
$30
million
so much
a day
money
with all their parks being closed. I don't foresee them putting the money into the conveyor belts.
Although, when they get the relief fund, because I'm sure a lot of companies are getting, I'm sure Disney is getting one too. Maybe they could quickly put something in.
Well,
or a temporary something.
Well, the other thing is, if they're going to open, more specifically with Disney, because they don't already have the conveyor belt system in place, I don't foresee all Disney parks opening at once.
No.
So, they could just purchase, let's say for Magic Kingdom, because I foresee that being the park that's going to open first. Purchasing them for Magic Kingdom, and then that gives them time to then purchase for the next park they plan on opening, and so on and so forth, but I don't know.
Yeah. Clear bags could be a thing.
Disney can afford
it. They can, but they're taking such a loss right now. I think
they could still afford it.
They could still afford it, but
they're going to be looking on ways to save on the money they've lost.
Yeah, and with fewer cast members and doing it that way.
But you wouldn't need as many cast members if you put in the extra.
I know,
belts.
but they're just. I think they're. I don't know. That one's still to come.
Disneyland Paris already has the X-ray.
Okay, so.
So there you go. And Randomness said the way that they can bring back their money, do $15 Cokes.
$15 Cokes, yeah, right. Okay, let's go to the next one. So that was the random X-ray thing.
Okay. Require all guests to undergo a rapid COVID test under 15 minutes for results. All those with negative results could enter. How are they getting all these tests?
So this isn't not the temperature check. This is just asking that you, the guest, us, we would have to do a actual COVID test and wait 15 minutes for results. Because we can get them as quick as 15 minutes. But the question is, where are you going to get all these tests from?
Where are you going to get all these tests? Where are you going to hold everyone while they're waiting for their result to come back? Especially rope dropping.
Yeah.
That's going to be insane. Okay, you can go stand here, and then you're still going to corral all these people in this small little space while they wait for their results, in which case you don't know which ones are infected and which ones aren't. My other thing is, how effective are these rapid tests? Because the actual COVID test, the swab goes through your nose, way in the back.
Yeah.
I would not want that done to me if I don't have to have it done. And that sounds very unpleasant, and I know that that's what happens. How effective are these rapid COVID tests? Where are they going to corral everyone while they wait the 15 minutes to get the result? And how are they getting all of these tests?
So the only thing I can think of is how they would do this is probably if they implemented, you have to do the COVID test. Let's just say, hypothetically. They would probably do the simple way, which is do the nose swab in each nostril, Kind of like what they do when they check for a flu or something. Like when I got
Yeah,
checked, and then they could see.
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
How effective is that if the
It's not all
actual
that
test
effective.
has to go all the way back?
Yeah.
So if the actual test requires them to go all the way back to get an accurate reading, what makes them think that they're going to catch anyone that could possibly be carrying the virus by doing a simple little inside the nose? Because that could show up as negative when you're actually positive.
Exactly.
I just don't see how that's
And the
gonna
test
work.
for it would be very expensive. I know right now they're throwing around numbers for the home test.
The test you can buy to do at home.
Yeah, is they quoted it I think at $109 or $119 for the at-home test kit, and that goes with the swab, but you still have to send it to a lab. And I'm sure for some reason that $119 does not cover that lab bill.
But
I do not think that covers
so
that.
that's the other thing.
So I don't. This is terrible.
What these rapid tests that Universal is thinking of doing is, how do you like? Okay, so if it is just a quick nose swab in each nostril, how do you get the results? Because they're not sending them to a lab.
Well, think about it, how they do it at like when I went to the doctor when I passed
Kind of
out.
like a pregnancy test. You flip it over, you wait 2 minutes,
Well,
and you
how
see
long-
what the result is. I mean, I don't know.
How long did the doctor, when I passed out, and he was just checking everything, and he did the nose swab. It didn't go all the way back, but he did.
Well, it's because he was doing the flu test.
But still, how long did that take? Probably 10 minutes?
10 minutes. But you're in a healthcare thing. They
Yeah.
have equipment there, like lab-wise. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see how this could work. So the question, are you for it or do you have a problem with this? Because that's how they're worded. If you had to survey this, are you okay with this or do you have a problem with it?
I can't answer that until I have more answers to my questions.
Yeah, I need
Like,
more
I don't
information.
feel like I can say I'm comfortable with it or not comfortable with it. I don't know how accurate these things are. So if they're not anywhere close to being accurate, there's no sense in doing it. I'm against it. If there's accuracy involved, I still need to know how you're going to corral all these thousands of people into a little area while they wait for the 15 minutes to then determine which of them have tested positive, in which case now you've infected all these other people that they've been with. So again, I guess right now I'm not for it because I don't really see how the logistics are going to work out.
I think us too, and somebody just said because they're in the healthcare professional, I think you and I, we work at
want more
hospitals.
details.
We need a lot more detail.
Because
So
yeah, because again, regardless of the accuracy, where are you putting these people? And if one person in this group of 100 that you have corralled over here comes back positive, are you now not going to let the other 99 people go in because now they've potentially been infected by the one person? Like, the logistics make no sense to me.
yeah, I can't say yes or no right now. Right now, if it is as standstill and they gave no information, I'd be like, no, that's not happening. Just because there's no information.
You know, and even someone just brought up a point too with these kids.
Oh, kids, putting kids through that?
Terrible for them. Like,
You
you're
give
bringing
kids a
them
COVID
either to,
test?
like, the happiest place on earth, aka Disney. You're taking them to another exciting adventure over at Universal. Like, and you're gonna put these kids through that? Like, even like a nose swab, like, yeah, that's not painful if you're just doing the inside.
I would say
but
this.
especially when we're talking about not even just kids, but anyone with special needs, and like that could.
Here's my answer, point and blank. Point and blank. If Universal or Disney or any theme park in Florida said the requirements to get in the park is you have to do a mandatory COVID test, that tells me keep your parks closed. Keep them closed. There's no point opening. You know, if we have to do this
If we're
mandatory
still that
and wait 15
scared
minutes
that the virus is still that
that we have to do
prevalent,
that test,
then yeah, maybe you should not.
maybe
have
don't
opened
open
the
yet.
parks.
Maybe don't open yet. Don't open yet. That's how I would look at it. If that's mandatory, all the other things, yeah, we could deal
Yeah,
with.
because that's just trying to.
Prevent, but no, then you have to keep it closed. If that's my thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, if you have to do a COVID test.
You would have to convince me otherwise to not
like
think
saying
that.
during flu season that you have to show that you got the flu vaccine to come in. Like,
On your like Magic Band, you'll have to put in like they'll sell some like little thing that says
I got my flu
that
shot.
you got your flu shot. There
or
it
like,
is. You have
or
to
like
show
at
it.
the
It was
hospital,
fun.
we get that sticker that goes on our badge that says flu with like the little
Yeah,
slash through it.
that says
like,
I'm not,
is
I don't
that
have the
why
flu.
you?
That
Like, I just feel like if you don't do that for the flu season, where like you don't require everyone that comes in your park to have gotten the flu vaccine.
yeah.
Like, if you're that concerned about the coronavirus at that point that you're going to require guests to take a test, then you shouldn't have opened yet.
Exactly. That's so. If that's a mandatory, keep it closed. Keep it closed. So let's move on.
And yeah, someone even said, Bob said, people aren't going to submit healthcare records to a company like Disney. They're not going to submit healthcare records to any company for that matter.
Exactly.
HIPAA violation.
HIPAA violations, man. You got to be very careful with that. You know.
I bet you would still go, Tony. We probably would.
I probably would, but
I mean, as much as we're complaining, we probably would still go do it.
I would. I think I would have to, out of curiosity, at least once.
I think just to see like
how
the
they are
process
implementing
of it.
this process.
And then,
I would have to be out of
depending on how
curiosity.
traumatic that COVID test is, I'd be like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, then I'd probably say no. I'm not going to do this, but I think I would once. But that's being a convenient local, about 15 minutes away, and going, what the hell?
Randomness is
Let's
right.
just see.
Pass holders, we are going to be the guinea pigs of this all. Whether you're talking about any of the theme parks in Central Florida, the local pass holders, not necessarily always the out-of-state pass holders, but the Florida resident pass holders, we will be the guinea pigs for all of this because we are going to be the ones that are right in the area. When they say, the time that they come out and they say, all right, we're going to resume park hours starting next week, the local residents are going to be the ones that are going to be able to go because we don't have to take time off work. We don't have to,
and they can
even if
monitor
we're
us.
not going like the first day it opens, like we can go on our days off. We're not going to be traveling and having to get airline.
We're easier to monitor.
Yeah, plus we live in the area, so if we
we're easier to monitor.
You know, come time when they reopen and the Central Florida Tri-County area has a major response with their locals catching COVID-19, well, they know then we are not going to open anymore. We're going to close back up.
I don't know. Let's move on.
Okay.
Because we could get stuck on that for a while.
Require all, well, this goes along with it. Require all team members to undergo a rapid COVID test. Only those with negative results would be permitted to work. This is kind of different. There aren't as many team members or cast members, if we're talking about Disney, as there are guests. I think guests would actually feel more comfortable going, knowing that none of the people that are working that day have tested positive. But again, I think that's going to come down to, just like we were saying, is if we have to wear a mask, they should have to wear a mask. I could feel team members and cast members saying the same thing. Like, if you're going to require me to make sure that I'm not going to test positive, I want you to protect me as your employee and make sure that no one I come in contact with has also tested positive. So I think that's going to be their argument. So again, I think it would be easier to do it with just your employees, but you're going to have that whole issue of team members and cast members are going to want to feel protected as well.
Yeah, and someone just said shouldn't be just facing team members, cast members. It would have to be everybody.
Even the backstage, because
backstage you'd have
even though that they're not coming in contact face to face with guests, they're coming in contact with the team members or cast members that are coming face to face with guests. So
yeah. Bob's comment: I'd pay money to see Gaston in a surgical mask.
That would be
interesting. That'd be one for the books. I would take that as a memory. Picture for a memory. Picture time. But yeah, that goes hand in hand. That goes hand in hand, you know, with us having to do that if they were. But I don't see the COVID test.
Okay, so this next one I'm just going to group together just because, again, it goes with what do you think if we require all guests, and then the next one is what do you think?
Okay, so we're going to group these together. These are 3 different questions, but we're grouping them together. That they said, universal.
All right, so the first part is require all guests to have their temperature taken. Those testing high would be refused admission. require all team members to have their temperatures taken. Those testing high would not be permitted to work until testing fever-free for 24 hours.
So, temperature checks. Disney did announce that they were probably going to do this. It was an idea. It hasn't been 100% concrete, but they have said this is a possibility. Universal follows suits with Disney, so they're asking people, how would you feel about we giving you, us, the guests, a temperature check, plus having the team members, the cast members doing a temperature check? I don't have a problem.
Yeah, an update on the last conversation we had in a live about the temperature check when we were talking about our job doing like the temporal checks. Now they have this nifty thermometer that doesn't even have to touch your forehead.
It doesn't even touch.
It like, you go, so I've had to do this already with people. It's like this little gadget thermometer, and you wouldn't be able to have I'd have to have access to your forehead.
You need your head.
But it wouldn't touch the forehead. I would get probably as close as that.
Probably 6 inches.
And it reads off the heat coming off your forehead.
Yeah.
And it gives you the temperature.
6 inches.
So I think that gadget, a lot of more people would probably feel more comfortable with, just for the fact that nothing is having to touch someone that just got their temperature taken in front of them. Downfall of this, because this happened to me at work last week. Last Sunday, I had gotten sunburned when we were out working, and I got to work on Monday morning, and my temperature read high, and I heard the woman go, uh-oh, and I looked right at her. I said, I guarantee you I'm not sick. I have sunburn. So she had me wait a minute, because then I was in the AC to kind of let me cool off, and then she did it again, and I read normal. So that's the only issue with those thermometers.
They're not as accurate.
When you're measuring it off the forehead, whether it's the one that actually touches the forehead or the one that you're just aiming at it, I get sunburn, not the only one. Plus, come summer heat, you don't have to be sunburned for you to get really hot out. Like, there's going to be inaccurate readings, and how many are they going to do before they deny admission?
Yeah. I mean, our work does 3 before they deny you entrance. They do 3. They do, as Lisa said, the first temperature check, not touching the head. She was high, so then they had to do it again. They wait a minute, do it again. Now, if she was high again in the temperature, they would call a nurse down, and then she would have to do the oral. And if she was still high on the oral, then she would have to be sent home. So would the theme parks go 3 tests, and then make their decision off that, whether you can enter or not, or would it just be based off of 2? And would they even do an oral? Would they just say, do the scan and be like, oh, you read kind of high, give a minute, scan again, oh, you're still high, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how they would do it.
And someone did mention too, about, again, bringing up the whole asymptomatic thing, nothing is going to be perfect. I mean, like I said, we work in a healthcare facility, like, I could have it, I could be asymptomatic and be allowed to work because they're checking my temperature and my temperature only. The only way I'm getting a COVID test at work is if my temperature reading stays high, I get sent home, and my manager calls me later on telling me where I need to go to the testing center to get the COVID test done. That's the only way I'm getting the test done. So I could potentially be walking around asymptomatic, and I'm still allowed to go to work. So nothing is going, even at the parks, nothing is going to be 100% guarantee that you're keeping everyone out or allowing everyone in that doesn't have the virus. Like, I get it that there's those asymptomatic people, and that's just going to be the risk of going. But again, if you look at it this way, that's the risk of going during flu season. Not everyone gets their flu vaccine. They could pass it to you.
It's possible.
So, that, it's always the risk that you're going to take. There's always going to be a risk involved, so we're never going to get it to be 100%.
Now, with that risk, right? Let me just quickly answer that, or ask this. With that risk, could you see the Florida theme parks, Universal, Disney, SeaWorld, and so on, make you sign a waiver that you could not blame those parks to say, because they have to cover themselves?
I could see that. We're allowing
Is that how they would cover those asymptomatics? To be like, all right, you're fine, but you got to sign this waiver so you cannot sue them.
You cannot sue us. We have because again, there's no 100% guarantee on anything. And someone said, see, that's why we need to wait a while. It doesn't matter how long you wait. if this coronavirus becomes something like where it's a seasonal thing, just like we have a flu season, it's going to continuously come back. It may have mutated from the year before. Like, you're never going to have 100% accuracy rate. You're going to have to just realize that if by going during that season, there could potentially be that asymptomatic person that is allowed in because they didn't show any of the symptoms.
And I can see, because
And-
every theme park has to cover themselves.
Again, just like the flu season, you are entering a public area, well, technically a privately owned area with a lot of people. You could potentially get sick, but you've taken that risk anyway.
I could see them, you know what I could see them doing? After you check out, they have you scan your band and then do like an electronic signature. That's just allowing that you, if you were to get sick or anything like that, that you tested fine, negative. If anything were to happen, you get sick, you cannot blame Disney company, Universal company, any which way.
Or maybe it's not something that you sign when you go into the park, but maybe that's just one of the terms and conditions that like no one ever reads. Like when you purchase something,
that could be,
and it's probably going to be listed in that terms and conditions thing, because that if they make you sign it as you're entering the park, that's also going to be a holdup. I see it being added to the terms and conditions.
Yep.
And if you choose not to read that, and I'm guilty of that too.
We don't read a lot of that
I
stuff.
just go, yep, I accept and agree, blah, blah, keep me going. That's where they're going to put it. That's where they're going to put it.
And that small print that you ignored.
Print that you checked off that you agreed, and when you go back to complain to them that you caught the virus, they're going to say, well, you signed that you accepted to the terms and conditions of this, and one of those terms and conditions said you could not come back and sue us. That's how they're going to get away with it.
That's because they have to. Every company has to protect themselves. We know this. Hello. Pick up. Who's there? And I think that's how they'll do it. All right, let's move on to the next one. There's not too many left. So, what was that? Yeah. I know you're reading comments.
Okay, that was the team member one.
Yep.
Implement touch-free payment for food, merchandise, and parking. Eliminate self-serve food options. For example, team members would refill beverages.
Now, here's my thing. Why is this not a thing already? With all the technology we have in the world, why is there not all hands-free? With as much as the technology, why is this not a thing? I'm surprised. It should be.
So, like, going off of what we've heard rumor-wise with Disney reopening is that anyone entering the park is going to have a magic band. There's not going to be the option of, like, the card.
The card. It'll be a magic band. No more cards.
That way you don't have to touch anything. You just put your wrist out where the band is, and it scans. And so that we kind of go on with the payment.
No more cash.
No more cash.
I can see that. No more cash.
Your band. And I was asking Tony, though, how that's going to work for those of us that are locals, but also those that are coming down on vacation that aren't staying at a Disney hotel or aren't staying on property, is like for annual pass holders. So like if I go to the park and I decide to eat something, I have to use my magic band. Is it going to come out of my monthly payment? But then you have your out of state pass holders that they have to pay up front. So they don't have a monthly payment. Are they just going to be given a bill after their trip of what they now owe?
What I'm more concerned about when this comes with the whole money thing, I think I'm more concerned about the people who visit overseas because they convert their money into the US dollar. They do, let's be honest.
Well,
so
said,
I don't know.
Or you'd link a card to the band. Well, that's what they do. Like
you can link a card to the band.
You have to, regardless. Like even if you don't buy anything, it's required that you have a card linked to the band. One, because in case any damage is done, they have a way to take money out of your account.
Yeah.
But that's already the process. But my question though is like, is it going to be, I'm asking, I guess, more from a pass holder standpoint, is if I go to the park and I buy food, obviously I'm not part of a dining program, is it just going to come out of my monthly payment? Like, are they just going to add money onto what I'm paying monthly? Is it going to be a separate thing that comes? Like, I don't...
Or I told you what they might do is, like, you guys ever go to, like, a Red Robin or something like that, or a Fridays or something like that, and on your table you have the little, like, machine. So like the server would come to you and say, your check's already on this machine whenever you want to play, and you already have it there at your table. You slide your card in, you do everything.
There's just gonna be one of those
And then
that...
it prints out, because all they would have to do is when they wipe down the table to get ready for the next is sanitize that touch screen and that you play with for the credit cards.
Because then
I think that would be the smart thing to do.
Someone said I would not want to link my card and pay one final bill at the end.
I wouldn't want to either.
Even though we have a card linked to our bands, like I'm the same way. Like I wouldn't want to like be surprised at the end, just kind of like how it is too on a cruise ship. Like you get your final bill at the end. Like I don't want to be surprised when I see that number.
Yeah, I like to go.
So I kind of like your thought process better is you still have to use the magic band to scan onto that touch screen.
Or you could use your credit card.
But your receipt would print out right there and you're paying as you go so you know how much you're spending.
And you could use your credit card on it too. No cash. Credit card or your magic band, and when they, the bus boys, bus girls, whoever comes around, the cast member, team members, to wipe down that table to get ready for the next person, just spray the sanitizer on that little keypad machine that has your bill, and just wipe that down. It's good to go for the next person.
And Drunk Stormtrooper brought up a good point. We would have to put in our PIN, because otherwise...
Well, that's what I'm saying. They would spray everything.
No, but the reason I'm saying that and what he brought up too is a lot of times if someone drops their magic band and you pick it up, it means nothing to you because you were required to give your fingerprint.
Yeah.
So, but they're not going to be doing any of that more. So now if someone finds a missing magic band, it's going to be like, oh, someone else's wallet.
Yeah.
Because they could just be like, yeah, I'm going to put it on this one because it's not their money. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea is you'd have to put in a PIN.
A PIN. And or I can see them soon, like implementing soon. It's not going to happen right away, but I can see them when you renew a pass holder or when you get your magic band, I could see like a little picture being taken of you. Like quick, right when you tap and let's say you have a little problem, they take their little picture of you with their iPad that when you... now scan your magic band.
Kind of like an ID. If you're not the person that matches,
it would show up on their iPad, your name, and a black and white picture of you, your face. I can see that happening, not right away, but I definitely can see that happening to keep everything touch-free in that sense. So they know who you are, so if you would drop it, it wouldn't be...
There has to be some way to identify for a cast member more for a cast member because at Universal, you don't get a band.
Yeah.
Everything is on, even the pass holder, all we get is the card. Now, most people will get lanyards. Mm-hmm. Like, we have those that you put your pass in there. But again, like, I don't know, there has to be some.
Oh, and mobile food, somebody just said mobile food, I wanted to talk about that.
It's definitely going to be more prevalent.
Exactly, that's going to be the thing. I'm surprised that isn't more already, because people love that, and they take advantage of it. Who doesn't like to just order on their phone and still keep walking around and just wait? Oh, okay, let me go up and grab my food. Why would you want to wait and sit?
Why would you want to wait in a long line when I could do it right then and there and 10 minutes later?
And still go into a gift shop or do whatever and kill some time. And
randomness thinks that Universal will change. I have a feeling so too. Especially if they want to do this whole hands-off thing. There's no way for them to go hands-off completely with their current system because everyone has a card. So there's no way except for the fingerprint right now to know that that card belongs to you.
Yeah.
But if they want to get rid of that, I can see them coming up with some type of band or something.
The picture thing, snap a photo.
They'll
come up with something.
Yeah.
They'll probably implement it. Oh, let's just do it the way Disney does it. They have no problems.
They have a band. Let's come up with
Let's just do a band.
Can't be called a magic band, though.
Yeah, so they'll call it something else. But
a minion band, I don't know.
I could see them doing it. I mean, how cool would it be to have like a minion type band to wear? It'd be awesome. Or a Back to the Future one. Or Jaws. Totally.
It'd be like the money they make off their lanyards with all their different stuff is they could do it like Disney do bands with all their characters.
I think that would be awesome. So I think they will... I think Universal will follow suit with some sort of band, just like Disney.
Some type of band or something other than just a card.
Yeah, they'll have to. I see that happening. Yep, absolutely. Let's move on to one of the next survey questions Universal has given us.
Okay.
Not too much more.
We never really talked about eliminating self-serve food options. That was part of it, but I guess that kind of goes hand.
That goes hand in hand.
All right, so require team members to wipe down vehicle seats between rides, implement social distancing practices throughout the park. For example, 6-foot distance when queuing, table spacing at restaurants, and mobile ordering.
Okay, so let's go for the first part. How would you feel? So let's go. Are you on board with this, or you don't feel comfortable with them sanitizing every ride vehicle after a ride has gone through? You'd be okay with that? I'm okay with it.
I'd be okay with it. I would have been okay if they did that before this whole pandemic
it's going to
started.
slow it down. The lines, I think, will be a lot longer because they're going to take the time, but at least you would know that you are safe. You're not going to get anything like on you, you know? So I'm okay with it. It's just going to, queuing is going to be a lot longer.
Time.
Yeah.
And my other thing is, I understand this whole social distancing, but again, I guess my thinking is if we are still required at that point to stay 6 feet away from each other, is it really a good idea then to open a park that can hold 40,000 people?
Well, that goes into other questions and part of the survey.
Well, no, because my question, but regardless is, if I'm still required to be 6 feet apart from someone, why are you opening your amusement park? Even with only hundreds of people showing. How are you going to keep lines if you're saying that you have to remain 6 feet apart and 6 feet apart while queuing? How far back is that line going? And how are you going to differentiate when these lines start to merge because you have nowhere to put these people with these 6 foot distances, that this one is for Peter Pan and this one is for It's a Small World, and then over at Universal, this one's for Rip Ride Rocket, this one's for The Mummy, this one's for Transformers. Like, because if you keep putting 6 feet between people, these lines are going to go way out of the parks.
Yeah.
At that point, should you really have opened? There's going to come a time where this social distancing is going to go away, where it's not going to be required anymore. And as much as I really want the parks to open, because that's pretty much my hobbies down here, is should you be opening at that point if you're still requiring 6 feet apart?
We don't know how that's going to go. I think that survey, that question is just, you know, not last minute, but like the hypotheticals. Well, let's just see. How would you feel about if you went on a ride staggering people 6 feet?
Kind of like.
So pretty much what I'm getting out of this is if you are, let's say, a family of 4, your family would be able to sit together, okay? And then let's say Lisa and I were behind your family, and we're a party of 2, we would be 6 feet away from you, you know, right? So how would you feel about that on a ride? I wouldn't mind that.
You wouldn't mind that, but then how many people are they going to fit on a ride? And I'm talking
more, that goes with the whole, it's going to slow down the wait time.
Yeah, and I'm still talking more so about Universal because their ride cars don't typically hold as many as Disney's does. Like, look at Rip Ride Rocket. In total, there's 12 people that get on that ride. Mm-hmm.
So it'd be 6.
Yeah, like 6 rows of 2.
So it'd be 6.
But you have to be 6 feet apart, Tony.
So pretty much I would see them do this.
So
like
how
if
far
you
is
are
6 feet apart between one row and
So what they're going to do is they've
row.
already started doing this in a park in, not Disneyland or anything like that, in Shanghai, I think it was. It was some other theme park. And they showed a picture of some people social distancing on a ride. And it did have a roller coaster with those 2 seats. So it had like one person on the left-hand side, nobody to the right of them. So it had a back row, but that person wasn't behind them. They were scattered, almost like a zigzag.
But at that point, why are you opening the parks? No one's going to want to, especially more so with Universal, for the fact that you have to pay extra to get their Fast Pass, Express Pass, whatever they call it. And now I have to wait even longer because you're not filling up the car because now I'm still being required to social distance. You shouldn't have, like, here's my thing is, you shouldn't be opening the park if we're still requiring social distancing.
However, you would still go.
But I don't, let's face it though, how often when we go to the Universal parks do we even go on a ride? Because we hate waiting in the line and we refuse to pay the extra money.
Yeah, so we do
You
a
and
lot
I
of the
don't
single
really
riders.
ride a whole lot when
Yeah.
we go there.
I don't know, but I don't mind it because I feel like in the company sense, now I agree with everything that you say, I do, but in the company side, when you have something as horrific like this and, such a way to the world, you almost have to try anything just to see how it works. And then go off of that and say, okay, that didn't really work. So that's why I think residents are going to be the guinea pig to test these out.
And I understand that we're going to be the guinea pigs.
We're
and
gonna
I
test it.
will be one of those guinea pigs. I know I will because I pay money to be pass holders for these parks. Like, I'm not going to just not go and let my money go to waste. But I think, as Brandon has said, it's going to be a false sense of security for these people that actually think this is going to work. Like, how is this going to, like, if you think this is a great idea that we are going to stagger people, that we are going to social distance, you are kidding yourself if you think that that's, I don't know. That's just,
You basically you would have to just go and just see, and and experience and just see how it is.
I just feel like if that's what you're going to require, then you shouldn't open the park yet.
I think that all goes with the whole testing.
That's just my thought.
I think it's just going to go with the testing. All right, let's move on. So that one, I think I'm okay, but I would have to, like Lisa, a lot of questions.
I'm okay with
a lot of
the
questions.
wiping down of the seats in between each ride. I'm not sure how that's going to work on a ride like Rip Ride Rocket that's constantly moving. Like, as you get off, that thing is moving on the conveyor belt.
So maybe
There's
that'd be
no
one of the
stopping.
rides that just won't open.
Well, there's not going to be many rides that are going to open at Universal if we get to.
Well, we're going to talk more about that because we'll talk about some more of those surveys that they asked.
Limit attendance to 75% of park capacity.
So how would you feel? Now, they asked this in 3 different ways. So we'll start with the 75.
So should I just read all of them then?
Well, let's get people's opinion first, and then we'll go to the next one. So how comfortable would you feel if they limited the park capacity to 75%? How would you feel, just off of 75%?
I have questions.
Okay, 75%, you have questions?
Oh, I have questions with any percent.
Okay.
Well, unless it's 100%, because
You're not going to get
that's
100%.
different. I know. But you're going to understand what I'm saying by that is I'm a pass holder. I live locally. I do not always plan ahead when I'm going to the parks. I may have a free day and be like, oh, it's a nice day. Let me go to this park or this park. I pay Disney and Universal a lot of money to be a pass holder. I don't have blackout dates, but if I get there and you tell me that I can't go in, you better be giving me some type of money back or something, because I'm already paying you a lot of money to be able to go whenever I want. But now you're telling me that I almost have to, like, I feel like by doing that, and I understand it, and I guess I could say I'm comfortable with the idea of limiting capacity, but I think there's going to be issues with your local pass holders who don't plan ahead. I don't plan ahead, like, on my, like, even before this whole pandemic started, like, yeah, we might have known that we were going to go to Disney on Saturday, but we didn't plan ahead what park we were going to go to, and sometimes that plan, even when we did it, the plan would change. It'd be like, no, let's go here instead.
Yeah. That is
and we
weird.
never really planned on what time we were going to get there, what time we were going to leave.
Going into the next one, they ask, how comfortable do you feel if they reduced park to 50%? Again, still the same questions that we have. And then they ask again, how do you feel if they reduced the park to, I think it's 25%?
Yeah.
To 25%.
Yeah, 75, 50, and then 25.
So my question is, it's just like Lisa's in a sense, but what is that number of cutoff? And then let's say, so those people who buy a ticket, right?
Yeah,
hold on. When they buy a ticket, okay, most of the time they say, online you purchase, what days are you going? Okay, so they're already like in, maybe not which park, but in that time frame. So let's say they max out that, let's say 50%. What do you do about the other 1,000 pass holders that are behind them. Like you said, you don't plan a day. So you hit your 50 with the people who have paid your 50%, but then you have these 1,000 pass holders that are right behind them. How do you justify and clarify? Do you shoot them all? Like, I don't understand how that would
Well, and
work.
the other thing too is, and it's not even just pass holders too, is for these people that are coming down on vacation, it's kind of gonna, it almost reminds me of like when Rise of the Resistance opens. If you're not there
You're not getting on.
2 hours before the park opens, or like if you're, well, now that they've changed it, but as long, if you're not there when the park opens, when you can get on the app and try to get a reservation for your virtual pass, you're not getting on. So again, if you're someone that even like someone brought up, especially those from the UK or just anywhere over in Europe, really is they typically come over for 2-3 weeks, and they're not the ones, they're not the vacationers that are typically spending all day long at the park, because they've spread their vacation out over a good amount of days. Like, they may decide to sleep in, but you slept in, so now the park's at capacity and you can't get in. Like, I don't know. I don't really see how that's going to work either, because you're going to have all these people that paid a lot of money that are going to be turned away because they've met the capacity that they're allowing in. And I get that during certain times of the year, parks do meet capacity, but those parks can hold a lot of people.
And someone did just mention that in the pass holder agreement, it states that you are not guaranteed to go into the park, if they hit. And that is actually true. As a pass holder, you're not guaranteed. You can come whenever you want, but you're not guaranteed you can get in if they reach a capacity. Like,
Which
let's
I
say,
get that.
like say, New Year's Eve, they hit capacity. We want to go. We're pass holders. Well, they hit.
Yeah, they hit capacity. I can't get in.
So,
I understand
there
that.
isn't that agreement.
But we also, before this pandemic started, like, we knew what those hot days were. Like, we knew what days were more likely for parks to hit capacity.
So now you have to treat it as every day.
So now I have to treat it like every day.
Every day is a hot day.
It's like a holiday or something like that. Like,
I don't know. I still don't think it's going to be busy once it opens, because I think people have too many questions or are a little weary.
well, that I do think
But
we're going to be the
we're going to run
pigs.
into that problem eventually.
And I think it's also just going to be more of a locals park in general too, because if they say, hey, we're going to resume park hours, let's say next week, people that live out of state that have to purchase flights and find hotels, and all that, like, they need time to figure that stuff out. Like, yeah, it is going to be more of a locals park when it first opens up.
But we are going to run into that problem eventually.
Yeah, you're going to.
You're going to, unless they can figure something, but they won't even know, because they'll be like, oh, okay, this is working well. Let's bring in more people, and that's when we're going to hit the problems.
Well, and randomness.
It's bound to happen. It's the way it is.
Randomness just said too, like, especially when it first opens, if it's all the locals, we're the people that don't spend nearly as much as vacationers. They're still not going to survive on the 75% that they let in. We're not the people that go and spend money on merchandise. We're not the people that go in and spend money on food a lot of times. Or if we do, it's like a snack here and there because we just ate before we came to the park, or we're planning on going home and eating. Like, we're not on vacation. Like, we're on our little
Disney
couple
World,
hour trip.
Disney World makes the most. I don't know the statistics on it. Like, I used to know that years ago.
Well, I'm talking even just Universal.
I don't know about it now, but even in Universal too. In Florida in general, the theme parks, they make the money off people overseas, the tourists.
Not necessarily all overseas, but just the tourists.
In general, yeah, they're not making as much. Like, yeah, some people will buy stuff. I've been known to buy something, but we're not spending money.
And it's rare that we're buying stuff.
Yeah, but
merchandise.
for those who are locals who do spend money in the parks, I guarantee they're not spending nearly as much as tourists are. So, yes, I agree. Yeah, I had the thought and then it just went away. But yeah, it's more the tourists that spend the money.
Now, if we were talking about Disneyland and Universal Hollywood, where like
their locals
they make their money off the locals, so they would survive off the 75%. Here in Florida, that's not
so much. So Disneyland, yes, they'd survive. Disney World, no, they wouldn't. If it came to residents.
Yeah. And I think the same goes for the other Disney parks too. Like Disneyland Paris, probably, because and the two China parks and Tokyo Disney as well. Like they're more of their locals parks. Disney World is the tourist park.
Disney
It's
World.
also the biggest one, which is probably
Yeah,
why.
Disney World is the cash cow. It's the moneymaker out
the
of
park
any
wise.
park in the world. World is the moneymaker, and people travel here. So Disney World makes the most money. All those Disneylands, like we said, locals, they're making money off them. A couple tourists, but it's not as
It's more
big.
their
It's not
locals,
as
it's more
big
their pass
here.
holders.
This is the mecca of all the theme parks that Disney owns.
Yeah.
Florida is the mecca. You know. So,
Okay, sorry.
comfortable
Disneyland
wise.
Paris relies heavily on tourists. Sorry.
Oh, do they? Okay. Well, I can see
figured
that
it-
actually.
well,
Paris,
I could see
see
them-
that.
I guess I could. So I guess my thought process is locals as far as Europeans, but I know Europe is huge.
Yeah,
but
Europe is
like,
huge.
it's a lot easier over in Europe to hop on a train and go from one country to another. Like,
Yeah.
and not as easy here to hop on a train and even just get into Canada.
Yeah.
And
no.
especially not into Mexico.
Well, it's easier to get in those places. It's harder to get back home.
It's true.
It's true. It's easy to get in. It's harder to come back.
Harder to come back.
Yeah. I can get
like-
into Mexico, no
but, like,
problem, but it's going to be hard for me to
It's
come
just
back.
a very, like over in Europe, like you can hop on a train and go.
It's a
from
little more
one country
convenient.
to another, and
It's convenient.
But they're also all. They also don't have to worry about, exchanging money for each country they go in because the majority of them are in the European Union. So.
Yeah. So let's take the 75, 50% and the 25% and let's just base it on the crowd level. Like, would you feel okay knowing that there was less people? Let's go off the fact that what we talked and ran about, let's just say, if it was, would you feel comfortable that, okay, we're spread out enough, you know, because not as many people that you're okay, you know, wearing your mask, you feel like you wouldn't get sick, possibly.
I feel like here's my thought now that you kind of brought that up because you said, oh, there's less people, you feel comfortable wearing a mask. I feel like people are actually going to become complacent. They're going to be like, oh, there's not as much people.
So
I don't have to wear my mask.
Well, so would you feel comfortable, yes or no?
I don't know.
It's a tough question to answer.
I would love for the crowd levels to be low. I mean, that's always a local's dream here in Florida is when we have those off-season days where it does feel more like a local's park because we aren't having to wait in long lines. We are able to get on.
Yeah, it's a dream.
Right, like that's always like the best day for us that when we get to a park and it feels that way. So of course I'm going to be okay with lower crowds. But to be quite honest, it's not going to feel that same way. Like, yeah, looking around, it's going to feel great. There's lower crowds. But if they do what they're saying, we're like, okay, well, we're only going to ride the ride at 25 to 50% capacity. I'm still waiting just as long as I was had I had.
But would you feel safer?
To be honest,
Would you feel safer? Let me put it that way. Would you feel safer at
I'm
75,
not,
50, or 25?
I guess my thing is I'm not as freaked out about this virus, and maybe that is because I work in the healthcare field and I'm surrounded by sick people.
We're more
I have
level.
to interact with sick people.
We're
I'm not-
level-headed.
Yeah, I'm not really freaked out about it. So if you told me that Disney was or Universal was opening up tomorrow and there was no capacity limit, I bet you that if I'm not working, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not as freaked out about it all because I work in that healthcare session. I've been in rooms that would probably scare people to know what diagnoses I've been around, and I've walked among you all. So I don't know.
Let's move
I
on.
guess I'd feel safe, but I would probably feel safe just as it was.
Yeah. I'd probably feel the same. Let's move on to the next one, Lisa. Not too much to go because we clumped some of these together.
Yeah. There's only
There's two more in the survey.
Implement a virtual line waiting system for all or most. Implement a virtual line waiting system for all or most attractions. Suspend parades and nighttime shows. Well, we kind of
We talked about
last
that.
part. We kind of expected that but no matter which park you're talking about,
All fireworks, all parades,
fireworks, all
Disney,
parades would be-
Universal. It's going to be gone.
it's gonna be
Because you're going to cry, especially Universal, because they don't have like a big hub like Disney.
No.
Their area for that nighttime water show is
Is-
so small.
And to watch that nighttime water show to get the full effect. You can't even just stand wherever you want around the water. You have to be in that.
Like 300 people
in that
little space. Like 300 people.
To actually see what they're projecting on the water. Because if you're watching from the opposite side, you have no idea what they're projecting on the water.
So like that 300 people at Universal feels like 2,000 at the hub watching Happily Ever After. Like that's how small this is.
Yeah.
So we talked about that many times. It's not going to happen.
They're going to suspend that.
Now what was the other part? The virtual queuing. Now Disney does this.
Well, they do it with Rise of the Resistance.
And they do it with, no, that's not a virtual queue. I was thinking the new Mickey Mini. No, that's not virtual. We thought that was going to be virtual.
So it's kind of almost like a fast pass system is what these virtual queues are. It's just a fast pass. I mean, you're given a pass and it alerts you what time to come back. Like it's pretty much fast pass. You just don't exactly know
I still think
exactly when you're gonna get to go.
I still think they should bring the old system where you went up there, you took
kiosk, that was the best system.
You took a ticket or you just tapped your band and no, it wasn't a band really at the time.
No, it was more like a card, but you tapped it and it gave you your time to come back.
Yeah, so I see them doing that or doing the Rise of Resistance style, get there early, virtual. But I think if you're going to virtual queue that, it shouldn't be, because people should be able to plan ahead that 30 days, that 60 days when they book that vacation. They should be able to virtual pass it from their house, their home.
So kind of
30 days out. Get your fast pass, but you're virtualing it that way.
Yeah, it would pretty much be the fast pass system.
Yeah. So
you're just booking your fast pass ahead of time. So you're getting your virtual pass ahead of time.
So do you think Universal would do that as Disney? Do you think they'll follow suit? Now they sell that ticket that lets you can either do $75 a day, or if you're a pass holder and you have the highest tier, you can do it from 4 o'clock on.
Yeah.
Do you think they would just say, let's do it the way Disney does it for a temporary, or let's just see if this works and just go on the app and do it that way?
What they probably would still do is they would probably still have their fast pass because they make money off of it, but they would do virtual queues for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it would kind of be like the Jimmy Fallon ride.
Yeah, I think it would probably be like that. Because that's pretty much your virtual.
Well, and they do it with Fast and Furious,
Just
which
for
I don't need to even wait in a
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But like Jimmy Fallon, you go up to the kiosk, you put in how many people are in your party, and it tells you what time to come back. It's pretty much your fast pass, but that's how it is throughout the entire day. Yeah. So until like usually right when it gets close to closing, then it's don't worry about the virtual pass. It's a 5-minute wait.
I think Universal, so Disney not so much have to worry about this because that's their fast pass, that's their virtual queue, whichever way they want to go, they have that system. Universal.
They would have to just implement it how they do it with the Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, do the ticket grab or quickly just do something on their app that says, hey, now you can do that.
do the Jimmy Fallon thing on your app too. You don't have to go
I'm saying all rides.
Yeah.
All rides, or you could do it that way. Lock in. So I can see Universal going the route that Disney has it. Or World. We'll talk about Disney World.
Okay, but then someone still brought up a good question, and I agree. So everyone has their virtual pass. What are you still doing with all these people while they're waiting for their time? Where are you putting them? Because now you've gotten rid of all regular lines. You can't even say, well, they can go ride this ride. Well, their virtual pass for that line may not be for another few hours. Where are you putting them?
You walk around the park and enjoy the fresh air in that 50% crowd capacity. Right? I don't know.
I'm going to go hang out in the pass holder lounge. Oh, wait. There's 10 people in here. We can't allow any more in. That's a very small lounge. But
you walk around. You shop. You do what you would normally do.
How are you going to shop? Because it goes into our next thing.
What do you mean?
How are you going to shop? Shops are inside.
Yeah. I could see plexiglass.
No, because their final thing was close indoor attractions. Well, it says indoor attractions and shows. But their whole reason for that is because they say that the coronavirus, it dies off in the heat, but by being in the AC, you're bringing it back on. Their stores are in air conditioned. So if you're going to say that you're going to close all indoor attractions and rides, you might as well close the stores too. And if you're closing down all indoor rides and attractions, what is going to be open at Universal? Especially because Universal is the one that sent this. Let's see your outdoor attractions. You got Rip Ride Rocket. Yep.
And you got one of the rides in the kids.
Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah. You got The Simpsons.
The Simpsons Twirl and Hurl.
Yeah.
3 rides right there.
That's at
3
Studios.
rides at Universal Studios.
At Islands, it's like 4.
3 rides at Universal Studios is what's going to be open if they do that. Are you really going to spend your money to go to a park where you can ride 3 rides?
Well, now let's go over to the Disney side. If Disney would do that, pretty much.
Epcot's closed.
Hollywood Studios is closed.
Because the only thing at Hollywood Studios that's outside is Slinky Dog Dash, and if you want to include Alien Swirling Saucer, even though it's under the covering.
And maybe the Stunt Spectacular. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
2,
guess.
Hollywood Studios isn't opening. There is not one ride at Epcot that is outside except for that last part of Test Track. That is the only part of that ride that goes outside, but the majority of that ride is inside. Every other ride at Epcot, indoors, closed, no use going.
Yeah. Hollywood Studios the same. When it comes to Animal Kingdom,
well, they don't want you
they don't
up
want
close
you
to the animals, so that entire park is about being up close with the animals. Yeah.
So Animal Kingdom is closed. So I think in this future going, it's Magic Kingdom is going to be the only park open.
But everything that you use to get away from the heat for a little bit, Carousel Progress, gone, which is fine with me, but still, gone.
I mean, unless they, do...
Filler Magic, not happening.
The only way they could still do it, the only way, is if they went like an old school clicker and they let so many people in. Because Carousel of Progress holds a lot of people. They wouldn't fill it, I would think, but I don't know what that number would be, but I could see them clicking and, somebody in there, spaced out in a sense. I don't know. Trying to think of something.
I still want to go back to Universal since they're the ones that sent this out. You might as well not open Universal Studios because you're going to have 3 rides out of that entire park that even with 50% capacity or even 25% capacity, I'm not waiting in that line for 3 rides. Islands of Adventure, you have the Hulk, you have Doctor Doom's Fearfall, but the entire queue for both of those rides is inside. So what are they going to do with those types of rides? Same with Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. The ride itself, I mean, it's both indoors and outdoors, but the queue is mainly indoors. And that's the thing with Universal is even with their outdoor rides, a lot of the queues are inside. So what are you doing with that aspect of it?
I would be more concerned for me, in my mind. Like, you're right, all the queue stuff is inside. I think I would be more weary about Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike because of those very narrow, long hallways. Yeah. Where you cannot even spread out a little bit.
You and I can't even stand next to each other.
You can't. You're in a single file in this closed area. That I would be the most weary about.
If that's what Universal's going to say that they're doing, and I get it to an extent, you shouldn't even open because 95% of your attractions are indoor attractions, and even your outdoor ones, then the majority of your queue is inside. So what are you going to have available?
Yeah. Now, I want to keep in mind, since we just pretty much went over, this is the whole survey. Those were all the questions from the survey. And so I just want to go over, so you just tuned in like halfway through or something like that. These are not official announcements from Universal. They were asking their fans, pass holders, and fans, people that have signed up email, just kind of get your opinion.
Well, how would you feel if we implemented this stuff?
And then we took this and we kind of incorporated Disney World into it because I feel like they were good questions, to think on both parts.
Even in Magic Kingdom, because you brought up that makes that Magic Kingdom's the only thing that's going to be open.
I still think that.
What are all the Magic Kingdom outdoor rides? Yes, they have more than any of these other parks we mentioned. You have Dumbo, you have the Barnyard Stormer, Astral Orbiter's outside. Big Thunder's outside. Splash Mountain, would you really consider that outside? The majority of that ride, you're in those caves.
I don't know, because a lot of times, too, you're out. That one's kind of, I don't know, maybe 50-50. That's kind of, I don't know.
Would you really consider that? Besides the few hills outside, the majority of that ride, you're sailing around on the inside of the caves.
Yeah, that's,
the Jungle Cruise is outside, so you can include that. Magic Carpets. But like the majority of their rides are also still semi-indoors. Would you consider the people mover being indoor or outdoor?
I would consider it outdoor. I think it's more
But you
outdoor.
still go inside.
Yeah,
You're
but I
still.
think
I just. Yeah, I don't know. Like.
I still think it's. But even in those carts,
Tomorrowland Speedway, I did
yeah.
forget about that one. And the teacups are.
But in like the people mover, those are distance enough that you could separate people as well. Even though that's not what they asked, but I was just saying like in those like insides for that short time, because I feel you're more outside than it's, yeah, you go inside. But those carts are still very far apart. Like if you would go on those rides and you had a family of like two, say two of us, they're not going to put us with other people. We're going to get that whole
But they don't do
cart.
that to begin with.
And I think
Unless you say.
I think
like,
the gondola will be like that too. If
Yeah,
you're
like,
a party of two,
I don't
us,
think they're gonna pair you with any other.
we're gonna get
parties.
our own cart.
We're gonna get our own gondola.
You'll be
instead
paired
of-
with your family, but you're not gonna get anybody like you know, else.
Yeah,
in there
because
like you
usually
would.
we're partnered with when we go on the gondolas. We're usually paired with at least one other group.
Of like four.
Or if sometimes there's been a time where it was only 4 of us total in there. But yeah, typically, I mean, it's at least one other party, if not 2 additional parties being added to your thing,
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, these are questions, surveys that Universal gave. Nothing, these are not official, like this is the way it's going to be. Just getting your ideas. And you know what? It's not, I commend Universal for doing this because they're trying to really think. How are we going to do this?
And how are we
ask the
keep
people.
our guests happy
And still follow our guidelines and the CDC and everybody else, the FDA, everybody. They're trying to be smart and they want to get opinions. I could see Disney following suit too, and we might see an email from them just saying another type survey, because I mean they're not. We the people who are answering this survey. It's not going to depict how they do things, but they're going to want this.
They want people's opinions.
So they can take this to their board meetings and be like, well, this was a popular answer. How could we do this? Oh, well, sir, we can't do that, that way because this. Okay, so how can we? They're really trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
And because I still feel that I'm looking at June to open up some of these parks or resorts or something like that. I think it's going to be June, and now it's coming to that push to shove. They're just pretty much waiting right now, getting the stuff together, implemented. What are we going to do? Because we're soon probably going to get that call or that email that, hey, it's okay. And then, I don't know. They're struggling. Every park. It's not Disney. It's not just Universal. It's everybody. All around the world. Any theme park around. Not even a theme park. Any store business. People ask, when's the Character Warehouse going to open? Things like that. Well, it's a mall area. It's outside, but...
And how are they going to keep those people 6 feet apart in line without them blocking the entrances to the other
Exactly.
stores?
So everybody, every business, every mall, every theme park, they're struggling right now to figure out how we can do this, how we can open, how we can help our economy, help our businesses, and yet still at the same time keep everybody safe and ourselves. This is a lot, and I wouldn't want to be like an owner or a head, honcho person like this to try to figure this out, because it's very scary, stuff. And then some people said, with the rumor, yes, there is that rumor going on that the parks may not even open till 2021. 2021. Which is possible. I don't see that happening because of how much Disney is losing,
But
they're just going to make... that brings me to that when we mentioned earlier of signing that waiver. You know what I mean? That they cannot be held liable.
I guess my thinking with that rumor is, they're not going to reopen till January 1st. Well, why open January 1st? If this becomes a seasonal thing, this all started in the winter area.
Yeah.
Like the winter time period. So if
October, November.
Yeah, if you're not gonna open till 2021, you might as well wait till a year from now, 2021.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't see that happening. I'm still going with June. I can't see Disney doing that. They can't afford to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Even though they're getting loans and things like that, and they put in time, they're getting a lot of those retro paybacks and helpful reliefs. it's just not feasible for any business, not just the theme parks. I don't know. But this was our opinions and thoughts to these surveys as if we were answering. So it does bring a lot more questions. When I was reading these, it did make me
I need clarity.
Need more clarification, because now it just makes your brain think even more about these questions. And let's be honest, everybody's going to think really hard because not a lot of people have anything else to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now, what happens
We're
when you're bored?
scrutinizing every questionnaire we get.
Exactly, because you got time to think about it. And when you think about something for too long, it's not a good thing, because now you're going to raise even more questions. But it is a good thing to do that. But, it's just, you need some more questions to be answered. And like I said, I still think come mid-May, we're going to get a better idea
Of what these
between
rules are
Universal,
gonna be.
Disney, SeaWorld, every park,
For
Disneyland.
when they reopen, this is what's gonna
overseas,
happen.
Disneyland all over, Universal all over, SeaWorld's all over. Any theme park you like,
As it gets
any business you like, you probably got
as it
emails about
gets
Target and
closer
everything
to
else.
your state or your local area, like reopening, so to speak. Look out for these.
I'm saying
for
mid-May.
any amusement park.
I'm saying
You're
mid-May.
up in the Allentown, Lehigh area. I mean, granted, Dorney Park's more of a seasonal amusement park, but still, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they start sending stuff out.
All your Cedar Park type theme parks,
Six
Six Flags,
Flags.
all of them. I would say come mid-May, about 3-ish weeks, I'll say, max, we should see something, I would say. But we're going to leave it at that, guys. So if you need to, go back through this video to see, hear all the questions survey, or you can look these up online if you did not get your survey yet. If you are a fan from Universal, by giving them your email or password. If you not get it, you can look them up. And I would suggest look them up and just think about it with your favorite parks. If it's not Disney or Universal, or you like one that's closer to you, look at them and think about it, because these are questions you're going to have. You're going to want answers, right? Your protection, their protection, everybody's protection. All right, guys. I think that's it.
I think so.
All right. Everybody stay safe. Stay free.
Stay free.
Yeah, seriously, because we're very limited on things. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Vlog.